Well, we dealt with the cleanliness, now we must deal with the clowniness, but at least they look like a relatively normal kid clown, not some like freaky clown. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. Having learned the dangers of using the public thoroughfares, you've taken to dodging down byways and skulking in rear areas, trying to spy out individuals who look ripe for friendship, okay, and like some kind of weird friendship predator, while avoiding the more criminally insane denizens. Just now you're following a winding footpath through the undergrowth surrounding a neighborhood where the local hives are spaced far apart. You came creeping along this footpath for safety. You should have known better. The undergrowth here is like most of the other life forms on Alternia, evolved to ruthlessly purge the gene pool of the weak and the reasonable. Coiled, spring-loaded stalks with foot-long thorns flank writhing bushes with razor-edged leaves, which in turn crowd tentacle flora with toothed lobes oozing liquid that hisses and smokes when it touches the ground? I don't even know what the hell you just described. Extreme caution is needed, just as it's needed in every circumstance on this planet. While your time on Alternia has gotten you accustomed to injuries, you still shrink from being impaled on sprung thorns and dissolved in acid. You should have known that eventually you would have to come up against the local flora, so you proceed discreetly, avoiding poison fronds and trying not to step on trigger roots. But suddenly, your vegetative focus is interrupted. You hear footsteps on the path, and then around the corner comes a small figure. Its face and horns are painted with smudged black and white marks. Despite its diminutive physique, oh god, it's the clown music, it has some of the most impressive horns you've seen on any trope. I guess. Oh jeez, what the hell? Then the small figure sees you too, and is so startled it jumps a foot, impaling its horns in an overhanging tree branch, and sticking there so that its small legs pump helplessly in the air. Okay, what a doofus. Honk! Oh no. Why must all clowns honk? You beg the small person's pardon and assure him that you are fully as startled as he. You go on to explain that you are not dangerous, but that even if you were, you would not want to come to strife with even a small person with horns of that size. Honk? Oh my god, are they only talking honks? Yes, you will be happy to help him down as long as he promises not to attack you with the many bladed weapons that are stuffed into his belt, or with the dozen cans of an inexpensive soft drink held in bandoliers crossing his chest. What? Is it the Fago? It strikes you suddenly that a neighborly gesture like helping someone whose horns are stuck in a tree branch can scarcely fail to kindle the light of friendship. You dare to hope that this will be the case now. Edging forward, you get close enough to see that around the small clown's neck hangs a dog tag, or ID necklace. You tilt your head and crane your neck to read the writing on it. Karako Pierot, if lost, call Branya or Sama. Branya, is this your kid? Suddenly this all makes sense. This Karako Pierot must have been one of Branya's reject wrigglers who, having grown through childhood under her tender care, has gone out into the world to seek his fortune. Well, if Branya raised him, maybe he's less freaky, although he still honks, so I don't know. That would account for his small size, short legs, and small stature relative to his horns. You eagerly pull out your palm husk, happy for an excuse to pester your old friend, but you've got zero signal out here. It's all them damn plants. You wonder if the surrounding vegetation eats palm husk signals, just as it looks like it eats everything else. You disappointedly slip your palm husk back into your pocket. Honk. You apologize for the delay, explaining that you were surprised to find that you appear to have an acquaintance in common, whom you hope you will have time to discuss later. For now, you are ready, willing, and hopefully able to help him down. You hope he won't be offended if you slip behind him first. It's not that you object to bladed weapons or those who stuff dozens of them in their belts, but you feel that the ones he's wearing could ruin your look if buried in your torso, however unintentionally. You edge past the weapons, being careful also not to touch the spring thorns growing at the edge of the path, or their trigger roots. Once you're behind Karako, you grasp his horns firmly and pull. Okay, kind of rude, but okay. Withdrawing them from the tree branch, and allowing him to drop lightly to the floor. Honk. Oh guys, is he only gonna talk in honks? I begin to have a feeling he's only gonna talk in honks. You tell him that he's very welcome. Then there is a moment of awkward silence as you try to think of something else to say. Fortunately, your new potential friend is not as devoid of the social graces as you are, and gets the conversation while rolling himself. Oh guys, don't give me honks. Honk? You explain that you are indeed a stranger in these parts, and that you actually don't fit into any of the hemo spectrum categories. Wild, right? Although not quite as strange as you used to be, you like to think, you're really starting to blend in with the local color. Honk? Well, you rather not exhibit your blood just now. You're a couple of quarts low due to the robust conditions of life at Alternia, some of which you have recently had the honor of encountering. Honk. You sympathize. Slinking along these hidden paths in the Alternia woods can be tough on the morale. The smell alone is enough to make strong men weep, and the vegetation looks like it was designed by the Marquis de Sade. Not that he knows who the Marquis de Sade is. You can't help but feel that it would be so much better if one only had a skulk buddy. You continue. How wonderful it would be to travel these dusky lanes with a kindred spirit, a twin soul, a fellow traveler, an intimate crony. You're such an expert at friend sentiments by now. Honk. Oh my god, how am I supposed to converse with you? Oh, he does his honk. No, you haven't met anyone like that either, but you would certainly like to. Your new potential friend is obviously thinking seriously about this issue, so you back off. Give him space. You pretend to be deeply immersed in studying one of the razor-sharp leaves on one of the writhing bushes beside the path. You aren't one to force yourself on others or try to unduly influence their friendship decisions. Okay, well, maybe you forced yourself on others in the past and try to influence their friendship decisions. Maybe you've even done this a lot, but you've recently evolved as a person. You now know that friendship is something that has to come authentically from within. Friendship is spontaneous. Real friendship sprouts naturally from the soil of mutual respect. The best friendships grow and ripen over years and are not rushed or forced. Of course, you've only known this small person for about 5 minutes, but you have to start ripening sometime. You're reflecting dust on the theme of friendship when a loud pours suddenly from the sky above you. It's a crackling, sizzling sound, like a chinless thing with too many legs struggling in a hot frying pan. Karako jumps so violently. Also, why do they have a growth tooth? That's kind of weird. Karako jumps so violently that he nearly gets his horn stuck in the tree again. Looking up, you see a floating metal object, vaguely troll-shaped, with a huge, faceless metal and with numerous sets of lightning bolt-shaped horns coming out of its head and neck. Is that a drone? It's also not a very sparkling conversationist. It remarks in a flat, echoing blare. It elaborates further. I mean, Karako here was just honking all the time, and you understood him. Honk! Oh god. Run a drone, or do I leap to my proto-friend's aid? God, every time I think it's the bad choice, it ends up being a good choice, so I honestly have no idea. I would say let's run? It probably shoot us down though. You run in wild panic. It's a drone. Even the Alternia badasses you've hung out with have been terrified of the drones. Up close is one of the most terrifying things you've ever seen, and it's making noises, which you didn't know they even did, and which probably means something sinister. Did we actually run away? Wow. You race at top speed down the twisting path, focusing your senses to their breaking point to avoid trigger roots, razor leaves, and acid pods. At first you hear the pattering of small feet running behind you, but as you redouble your speed, the pattering falls back and after a while is lost in the distance. Oh god, he died. You sprint for what seems a lifetime before you finally catch your foot on a trigger root and go flying through the air, barely missing being sliced into 100 pieces of tumbling ham by the barbed spring vine that lashes across the path only inches behind you. You land in the dirt, wind knocked out of you, but otherwise unhurt. You lie there catching your breath and waiting, but nothing happens. No enormous metal monster whizzes down the path to impale you. No small clown-faced individual overtakes you on his short legs. Finally, after nothing happens, you pick yourself up and dust yourself off. You're alone on the path and no sound of either friend or potential friend or foe can be heard. No birds sing, which is probably good. You imagine that any birds native to this forest would probably sing by croaking up putrid sludge, and that the sludge would be poisonous or radioactive. But leaving aside the character of the local fauna, what should you do? Keep on down the path, putting more distance between yourself and the drone? Or should you go back and see if Karako is okay? You waffle for a while and then decide to go back. Why are they even running? Aren't they like purple blood? I thought drones don't like attack them. You sneak back along the path. You sneak a long way, but however far you go, there are no signs of either Karako or the drone. They dead. You don't know whether the drone picked Karako up and took him away, or disemboweled him and scattered the fragments, or whether Karako leapt into the undergrowth and hid or escaped, or what. One way or another, you're all alone again on this path through a shit-smell forest. Game over. Well, that went how I expected it to. For once, I got the bad end like I intended to, so now I can get the good end like I want to. Okay, let's leap to our proto friend's aid, which can still end bad or good. You leap to your proto friend's aid. Thinking quickly, you push Karako against a large rock that juts out of the undergrowth nearby and jump in front of him, shielding him from the drone with your body. Wow, real brave. You then pretend to be leaning against the rock in an attitude of tranquil repose. Really? Several of the bladed weapons in Karako's belt poke you in the ass, but you don't let this show on your face. Instead, you lawn elaborately and check your wristwatch. You don't have a wristwatch, but you don't think the Joes know what a wristwatch is anyway. You pretend to you pretend to smoke a non-existent cigarette. My character is such a good actor, right? Again, you're not giving anything away because drones don't know what cigarettes are either. But the drone has apparently taken an interest in you. It floats down between the trees and undergrowth and hovers above the path several meters from where you're pretending to relax against a rock after a long day of hiking through scenic shit-smell forest. It's quite a terrifying sight actually, the drone observes soullessly, making Karako jump so that several of your internal organs are threatened. Oh my god, Karako, calm your ass. However, you maintain what you believe the local populace would call a stiff upper whistle pillow. The drone's blank metal head studies you, or it could be studying something in the opposite direction, or even taking the drone equivalent of a piss. Okay, you can't really tell from its expression because it has no features to make expressions with. This examination or non-examination continues for some time, but your diminutive potential friend is well hidden from view, and after a while, evidently concluding that you are an inanimate object, these drones are really bad, that makes unaccountable gestures with its wrists and fingers, the drone floats upward again, gaining speed, until with a dreary it whizzes off somewhere to find other hapless non-standard citizens to euthanize. When it's gone, you stand away from the rock and rub several sore places that have been pierced by bladed weapons. Good god, dude, can you freaking put those weapons in like sheaths or something? You turn to Karako to comment on the recent fervor, but stop when you see the look he is directing at you. A warm and admiring look, an affectionate and esteeming look, a look of friendship. Your first impulse is to throw your arms around him and lean in, but on second thought, remembering his pants arsenal, you put out your hand for a warm handshake. Victory is so close. But before you can seal the deal on this sweet friendship transaction, you hear a disturbance further down the path. God, can the narrative chill for one single moment, especially a moment when you're about to consummate a beautiful friendship? You turn to look. The footsteps, several sets of them, get nearer, and around the bend come three figures. Oh god, who is it now? Three figures wearing swimming outfits. Okay, suspicious. A lot of gold jewelry, even more suspicious. And insouciant expressions, very suspicious. Three figures with gills on their necks and small stylized fins on their faces. Oh, hells of suspicious. Oh man, is it possible that you finally happen upon a group of the legendary sea dwellers? They stop short when they see you and Karako. Obviously startled, they study you. You study them. Then Finhead Interloper 1 in a one piece and diamond earrings whispers to her companions, and all three burst out laughing. Oh, they're making fun of us. Finhead Interloper 2 in a violet wetsuit and rings slaps her die, and Finhead Interloper 3 in checkered swimming trunks holds his size. Oh guys, what's the joke? Let me in on it. Part of you is relieved. Laughter drives out the devil is the best medicine, and in any event is better than homicidal mania. They could be laughing about wanting to kill it, you know. On the other hand, this laughter isn't friendly, it's cold, mocking, and supercilious. These sea dwellers are obviously laughing at you, not with you. You notice Karako's cheeks flushing purple under his face paint, and his jaws clenching. However, he just stares with stony dignity at the interlopers. This just makes them laugh harder. The first sea dweller says, "What are you two supposed to be? Shrimp Cassidy and the Squirmus Kid?" says her second companion. I don't even get that reference. "A cold bait minnow and his mutated soft-shell crab?" says her third. You guys are even making like good like fish puns? I don't even know how these are. These aren't even puns. It looks like the minnow whale. I don't know what that is. One went down on the clown, causing it to splurt out the other one. What? The sea dweller's laughter is redoubled. You continue expressionless at these insults, but to your dismay, Karako's face is taking on a harsh, glowering look. Well, someone gets these jokes at least. You guess that such a tiny dude has probably been victimized by bullies his whole life, and, as you happen to know, there are no bullies like Alternia bullies. Honk. You tell him to let them talk all the shit they want. Don't let them provoke him. They're trying to get him to do something stupid. If he doesn't react, they'll get bored and go away. Honk! No, remember that drone? It's probably still around here somewhere. Touch a scale on their heads and you could be rendered into Mother Grubba feedstock. Hey bottom feeders, no whispering when you're in the presence of your bathers? What? Is that what they call themselves? It's a terrible name. And you, little boy? Put a respectful expression on your recognition surface. Be more like your friend, the slender manatee over there. I am so insulted. In fact, why is it you two are still perpendicular in the presence of sea dwellers? You should be bowed at right anglers. The first sea dweller seems to have an affinity for cheesy ocean puns. You bow to the sea dwellers. You have your dignity, but you also like not getting killed. Oh god, he's getting really angry. His clown rage is gonna come out. Karako remains stubbornly upright, his face getting angry and purpler by the moment. The bladed weapons at his belt jiggle from his rage trembling. Oh, see the little clownfish? He's getting angry. Looks like he's gonna shit his pants. What did I tell you about your face, boy? Didn't your Lucis teach you anything? Oh, he probably doesn't have a Lucis though. I doubt he even has a Lucis. A self-respecting Lucis would never let a shrimp like that out of the hive. Unless his Lucis is just as defective. Oh, these are some mean bullies. The Lucis cracks are too much for Karako. Ignoring your hiss warnings, he suddenly leaps snarling into the air, draws bladed weapons from his belt in each hand, and hurtles toward the sea dwellers. Oh kid, you're gonna die. Honk! Honk! Grab him by the coat tails and try to keep him from precipitating a disaster? Or do I leap into the fray and lend comfort and support? I never know which is right, so... I feel like this could be bad or good, so I'm gonna say this is a bad one. I'll go here first and try to stop him, I think? I never know what's right, man. You leap forward and grab Karako by the coattails, or by his belt. You aren't actually sure what a coattail is. Jesus, he's strong. You can barely hold him. It's like trying to restrain a small truck. His legs rotate wildly, kicking him a cloud of dust, and he brandishes his bladed weapons wildly in the direction of the sea dwellers. After a startled moment in which they jump backward, the sea dwellers have started to laugh again, coming up with more stupid insults and fish puns. This is not helping. Karako runs twice as hard, honks twice as loud, shakes his weapons twice as threateningly. Hey, you shout at Karako, trying to be heard above the fracas, holding on with all your might and digging in your heels. You have half a mind to just let him go, to pay the sea dwellers back for the insults, but you try to keep a cool head. You're doing your proto-friend much more good trying to restrain his wrath. You've now succeeded in wrapping your arms all the way around him, and now you get in front of him, holding him back with straight arms, bellowing soothingly into his face and trying to avoid the bladed weapons he is brandishing. But it's not working. You can see from the contorted features, the bared teeth, the distended nostrils with smoke coming out, the blazing eyes, that Karako is getting more and more enraged. And suddenly, his rage seems to reach a kindling point. His body vibrates violently, his eyes glowed huge and round. Oh god. And suddenly from his body something like a nuclear blast pressure wave of fear and violence sends you flying through the air like a scrap of paper in a gale. What the fuck? Are you hallucinating? Did you just nuclear bomb us? But you can see as you soar up above the path that the sea dwellers aren't laughing anymore. In fact, they're screaming in terror and fleeing wildly, blundering into razor leaves, being impaled by spring thorns and burned by pod acid, and generally receiving the stern retribution that awaits assholes. Then your head collides with a tree branch and you are rendered unable to narrate for a while. What the hell? ... More ... Even more ... I'm not dead. You wake up lying in the dust. As consciousness returns, you realize that you're lying on the path, and as it returns further, that a small clown-painted figure is seated next to you, quite calm now. He smiles fondly as he sees you sit up. Honk! You smile in return. You express relief that he realizes you were acting in his best interest, holding him back from the finheads. And now, though largely because of his unexpected burst of clown sorcery, or whatever that was, everything has turned out for the best. Karako holds up his arms for a hug, but then remembering the bladed weapons in his belt, sticks out his hand. You shake it warmly. Is this like the Tarzan kid of the trolls? My god, he doesn't say anything but honk. Alrighty peeps, I'm ready to leap into the fray and lend comfort and support for my clown friend. and get myself killed. You leap into the fray to lend comfort and support. You would have counseled Karako to turn the other cheek and keep turning cheek after cheek until the Sea Dwellers got fed up and went away, but now that things have hotted up, you're not about to let down the side. Karako crashes into the Sea Dwellers, his bladed weapons whirling like a blender. You scamper close behind him and kick someone in the shin. Yeah, check your sins before you wreck your shins. It hurts your foot, but doesn't seem to have any other effect. These Sea Dwellers are made of tough stuff. Or you're extremely flimsy? Signs have recently pointed to the latter. Your next sortie is more effective, however. Thinking quickly, you pick up a rock and throw it at the trigger root of a spring thorn growing along the path next to where the violet bloods are enduring Hurricane Clown. Oh, that's great. The coil stalk springs out, impaling a dude with a 12-foot-long thorns. Damn! My character's pretty good, actually. He's thrown off balance, and violet blood begins to flow copiously down his body. That's a hue you haven't seen before. Kinda pretty. Oh my god, my character loves Sea Dweller blood. But these Sea Dwellers are made of tough stuff. He yanks the spring thorn stalk away from him, pulling the thorns out, and flings it into the woods. Then he takes out a pocket handkerchief and starts patting his injuries gently. Okay? Just in like the middle of battle, okay. Meanwhile, Karako's bladed weapons have not been idle, and the other two Sea Dwellers are likewise leaking violet blood. I'm guessing we're gonna kill them and the trolls will come kill us. But these bastards are hard to kill. You remember Polipa telling you that. As you watch, one of them grabs one of the bladed weapons from Karako's hand and buries it in Karako's stomach. Oh no! One of them fights back. This, unsurprisingly, is distracting for a poor little clown, allowing two of the finny sons of bitches to grab handfuls of bladed weapons from his belt. Whoop. Sometimes your weapons ends up, getting yourself killed. And bury them in various parts of his body. This is not good. You dance around delivering harmless kicks and curses. Oh no, the cloud's going down. Karako is still waving his weapons, but he seems to be waving them more slowly now. Then, as more and more bladed weapons are buried in his body, he seems to lose focus. The weapons he's been brandishing fall from his hands. Finally, he falls to the ground in the center of a spreading pool of purple blood, twitches feebly for a minute, and then is still. You stare in disbelief at the corpse of one who, if he had been spared just a short while longer, would have been your friend. One despised and rejected. A clown of suffering, familiar with pain. They have flogged them and mocked them and spit on them and spit at him, and then killed him. You struggle to come to terms with this. While you're doing that, one of the remaining Sea Dwellers grabs you by the hair. Again, my character has no hair. And suplexes you onto the ground. Your head snaps back and the pain explodes behind your eyes. They suplex me, I'm dead. You are left lying on your back and trying to stay conscious. Are you sure your neck is not broken at this point? Which is why you have a good view of what happens next. Oh god, what's gonna happen? In the dark sky above you, something opens. Something even darker than the sky. A hole. Like a cave in the clouds. I'm sorry, what? Did someone open a black hole? It widens until you see that in the cave, a carousel with wooden horses mounted on brass posts rotates. The horses plunging up and down in time with carnival music played by a mechanical organ. Oh god, why am I in here? Riding the horses are naked store window mannequins. Their legs slung awkwardly over the horses' backs, their stiff arms down by their sides in whatever pose they were created? Their horse huge and wildly shaped? What kind of hellhole clown circus is this? In the darkness above the carousel, other naked mannequins with plastic wings tied to their backs are supported on wires, and above these in turn a net of white Christmas tree lights twinkle against the roof of the dark cave, or circus tent, or whatever it is, throwing their dim starlight illumination down on the rotated carousel. As you watch, two of the winged mannequins break loose from the wires and fly down from that dark region into the night sky, into the dimension Alternia occupies. They maneuver until the stiff hands on the ends of their stiff arms are underneath Karako, and then they lift him up into the sky and into the dark carnival. What? You hear a last faint, reviving honk as they set him on one of the wooden horses. Ooh, I don't like this. And then the hole in the sky closes and there's nothing but the night sky above you. All is silent and still again. An odd feeling comes over you. You don't think you've ever felt such a feeling. Just the reality of how utterly insignificant you are? Sure, you've spent the last few months wandering with no desire, but the desire for connection, and you are, in a way, a being unique in this galaxy. But honestly, what does that even mean? You flit in on people's lives, they're 1 minute, gone the next, always moving from friend to friend. You are, for all intents and purposes, a virtual non-entity, a bland point of view vector, a neutral second-person narrator barely coming into the picture, a retiring entity expressing only a simple, one-dimensional desire for friendship. Again, breaking all the fourth walls. But just about now, you feel that things have gone pretty far. And just about now, you feel that you've had about enough. Enough of arrogant high-bloods. Enough, in fact, of short wavelength hemotypes carelessly and without compunction killing and maiming and exploiting those of longer wavelengths, of a survival of the fittest regime that seems to come down to survival of the most violent psychopaths? Is this a moral universe, or is it not? You ask yourself. Are repulsive cruelty and sickening evil punished in this universe, or are they not? Does an ethical force operate in this universe, or does it not? You don't know the answer to these questions, but you do know one thing. You intend to depart for once from your one-dimensional persona. You intend to punish repulsive cruelty and sickening evil if it comes within your ability to do so. You intend to create an ethical force field in your local region. You intend to exert some moral gravity right around where you are if you possibly can. And you realize that this odd feeling you are having seems to be drawing moral Higgs bosoms out of the moral ground state, and right out of the fabric of this multicolored blood-soaked planet that heaves under your feet. You take on the aspect of clown sarker. I'm sorry, what? That was going like somewhere, and then I felt like it went nowhere. Seizing 2 cans of inexpensive soft drinks from where they fell from Karako's bandoliers, you shake them and pull the pins. Then with malice, aphrodite, you direct the twin streams at the seed fillers. Oh, I'm gonna bomb them to all hells and pieces. You smell banana and strawberry as the deadly streams play upon them. Already weakened, they fall back with cries under the withering onslaught. As soon as the streams slacken, you take up 2 more cans, shake them, and deal out death to the unrighteous. You smell peach and diet root beer this time. They're all like soda flavors, but no pity softens your heart. You wouldn't care even if it were pineapple watermelon you were spraying on these brutes. But these finheads are made of tough stuff. Rallying even in the face of this intense onslaught, they push forward, and seizing some bladed weapons from the purple blood pool, advance upon you. Wait, did Karako go to clown heaven? Is that what happened? Not one step back, you vow to the memory of Karako Pierot. You stand your ground, in desperation grabbing some cans of diet tonic water and club soda and opening up your batteries once again, but to no avail. A trident pierces you to the bone. Oh god, I'm gonna die. Followed by a scimitar, a tomahawk, oh my god, a short spear, and so many other blade weapons that the sheer weight of them drives you to the ground, where your red, precious blood flows in moderate streams, mixing with the purple blood of your proto-friend. This is the end, you realize, but you are glad you died in righteous battle. You are glad you created even a tiny, sputtering, temporary moral force field in your local region that you did. That's depressing. You can feel your life and narrative point of view slipping away, but you are content. Am I though? Am I? I'm back in this clown hellhole again. Yet, what's that you see above you now? Oh, I'm going to clown heaven. A dark space has opened up, even darker than a night sky, and 2 stiff-looking winged figures are descending. They land next to you, and gently place their stiff hands under you. Then they ascend once again, lifting you higher and higher into the darker space. I'm going to clown heaven. As you pass the boundary of the heavenly carnival, your life seems to revive within you, and as the fabric of the place closes around you, and the 2 stiff mannequins place you on a carousel horse next to Karako, you realize that planets, universes, dimensions, realities, powers, principalities, and cosmos come and go, but friendship is forever. Oh, and so is clown heaven apparently. It's like, shh, friendship? Is it though? Is it? Okay, these are some like super weird endings. Why are these endings just getting like weirder and weirder? And like my character is like just beginning to break the fourth wall more and more. I feel like, what is happening? Like in the last part, which is, you know, after Karako went to clown heaven, I thought like, you know, my character was like awakening some kind of weird other dimensional power within them, but then suddenly like, I'm a clown sucker? I'm like, what, dude? you have completely lost me. Just like all these endings have lost me. I don't understand what the hell just happened. But it was pretty interesting in its own bizarre way. But I'd like to know what you guys think. So I'll leave this episode here. Thanks for watching another volume of Hiveswap Friendship Simulator. Let me know what you guys think about these endings. Whatever analysis you might have. And I'll see you guys in the next video.